Salute to you all, the brave never fall. Being stuck is one of the most horrible feelings any individual could ever face because it invokes all those feelings of unnatural control that you would love to have over yourself. You feel like you're part of something, yet you feel isolated. You feel like you're going places, yet you're going nowhere. Being stuck is always an individualized concept because, of course, like almost every topic we discuss on The Brave Never Fall, it's really all about you, the individual, where you're going, where you've been, and most importantly, as always, where you are now. The present is what's always going to define you because you can only live in the current moment. Each second that goes by, that is the best version of yourself, or lack thereof. So being stuck, even though it has a connotation as if you're not going anywhere, being stuck, that's relative. You're still moving. Which direction are you going? That's the question. Ask yourself why you feel like you're stuck. Think about it. Do you feel like you're stuck because it's something you're doing to yourself? Or do you feel like you're stuck because you feel like there are outside influences in your life that have taken control over your life in a very unnatural way? Meaning you don't even know how you got stuck. Or maybe you do know how you got stuck and you just really have no idea how deep the problem has actually gone. Regardless if it's a relationship, workplace, school, just general stress, family, being stuck is being stuck, isn't it? You still have to figure out a way to keep moving or dig your way out of a hole. Being stuck is not fun. Some people think that if you can manage to just get by, you're not really stuck, but you're getting close. You're not stuck in the mud. You're moving, but you're just moving very slow. In molasses. Which is more painful? Moving very slow in molasses, just getting by. You're not really stuck, but you're just kind of just moving along. Almost zombie-like. Almost as if your legs are missing. With your arms, you're just pulling. You just feel weighed down. That's really what stuck means. At least how I've always felt. Whenever I felt stuck, I felt like I was still moving. I just didn't have any control over myself the way I wanted to. I had arms, I just didn't have legs. I wasn't complete. Something was missing. Something that was helping me move forward. I could move forward. I just needed a little bit more. A piece of me that was missing that I needed to get. And you start to think, this is really painful. Being stuck sucks. It's just a horrible place to feel because you feel like you have no options. And people can come along and they can help you, but unless they say the right things or they give you the right amount of help that you actually need, you're still stuck. And there's no guarantee once you get unstuck, how long you will be unstuck if you didn't learn why you were stuck in the first place. And that's where the why comes in. And that's where growth and change comes in. Because that why is going to point you into the direction of, this is why you've been stuck. The answers are going to start to pop up. The problem is you have to get over to the answers in order to solve them. It's real easy to say you're going to change. It's easy to tell people you're going to change. It's easy to look yourself in the mirror sometimes and lie to yourself about change. You can even lie about your current status, about how stuck you actually are. To some people, you may look like you're perfectly fine. They have no idea that when you go home at night, you're a wreck. You're crying into your pillow every night. You listen to the saddest playlist you've ever made for yourself. Every emotion seems like it's just weighing you down and you're crying all the time and you're trying to figure out what is the problem. I have a nice car. I have a nice job. My family treats me well. I've been married for a certain amount of time. I have good children. And that's the best case scenario. You have the people who are homeless, have nothing. They're stuck as well. A lot fewer options than the people that have stuff. So what's the problem? I think the problem is meditation. And I think that is something that has gotten, you say meditation to certain people and they think, well, what's meditation? Is that like you trying to like, go into some kind of a spirit world, as if you had to take some like you're gonna go into a tent with some people and you're smoking up something, and then you kind of, you're having a DMT moment. And that's not what meditation is. I always felt like if you meditate on why of anything, meaning whatever why is, whatever question you want to ask yourself, why something is, in deep meditation, you're going to get an answer. And then that answer is going to provide you with a path. You can either choose to trust your intuition and go with it, or you can choose to continue to be where you are and ignore it and just say, you know what? Things have always gotten better one way or the other. I'm just going to wait this out. And then you find yourself crying into your pillow, listening to the sad playlist. You're not in control of your life if you don't understand why things are happening in your life. And a lot of things are happening because you are out of control. Not because you're being reckless, but because you're not in control of your own mind, of your own body. You're not understanding that everything that you do is going to prevent you from being the person you want to be if you're not aware of what your problems are in the first place. Growth and change does not come easy. I always felt like if you're going to have growth and change, the only way you can do it, you have to hit rock bottom. That doesn't mean you have to be poor. That doesn't mean you have to lose your job or lose your relationship. I mean rock bottom emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually. You have to get to a point where you are so low, the only way you can get back is that you have to grow. You have to go up. You're not going to grow if you really do believe in your mind everything is okay. Regardless if it is or not, to you or to anyone else who is in your life, you're never going to grow if you think everything is okay the way it is, when it's just average. For your standards may be average. To someone else, it may be below average. It's not about other people. It's about you. Growth and change means you just want to be the best version of yourself. But you're stuck. You can easily get stuck in thinking this is just okay. And I feel that is something I always try to share with people. There's always more you can learn. There's always more you can experience. There's always a new friendship you can have in your life, or somebody that is better than you for you to learn from. You don't want people always just on your level in your life. Because what happens is that you take that average, mediocre mindset and then you think you're better than other people. But really, you're just better than really average or below average people, depending on what you consider average. If you're with a bunch of people and they're not making you want to be a better person or making you look at them and say, wow, how did you do that? I would like to do that. If they're not teaching you anything, if they're not adding value to your life, it's nothing wrong with hanging out with them, but don't ask yourself why you're stuck. You're stuck because you're not growing. Everything around you has kind of just stalled, and you've stalled right along with them. You may have clawed your way a little further, but you're not really going anywhere in any hurry because you have no purpose, you have no focus, you have no goals in place. There's no room to grow because you haven't hit rock bottom. You're still up in the middle. You're just kind of floating in the air. You're not going anywhere. Being stuck is far more painful than growth and change. I think growth and change scares people because it means you're going to be uncomfortable. There's going to be an inevitable struggle that you're going to have to overcome because there is no such thing as growth without overcoming some type of a struggle. Hurdles, whether it's mental, physical, spiritual, emotional, it does not matter. If you want to grow and you want to change, there is a certain level of pain that's going to come along with that, and you have to accept it. That's why it's so rewarding when you have overcome them and you have grown in a way you didn't even think possible, and you've changed in a way that is getting you steps, far more steps closer to the best version of yourself than if you just accepted the fact that everything's okay, I'm fine, I don't need to change anything. That's a painful way to live. because you are going to get into a place where the routine, everything that you do is just average, it's boring, it's stale, and you're not growing as a person. And if you're the type of person that is hanging around other people who are go-getters and they're achievers and they want to be the best versions of themselves, they're going to leave you behind. And there's where the pain starts to seep in. That's where the jealousy seeps in. There's where problems arise, where you start comparing yourself to other people when you don't have to. You should only be comparing yourself to yourself, to that person in the mirror looking back at you saying, is this all you want? Or is there more out there? There's nothing wrong with being content with where you're at. There's nothing wrong with being the type of person who says, I just want to be here and make the best of it. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. Being stuck means you're in pain while you're doing that. If you're someplace and you're saying to yourself, I'm content being here, but you find yourself emotionally withdrawn from what you think you should be enjoying so much more, that means you're stuck and you don't like it. There's something you want to change. There's something that's trying to grow, and you're repressing it because you're afraid of change and growth. You're afraid of the struggle. You're afraid of the obstacles that are going to come. You're afraid of being knocked on your ass. You're afraid of being critiqued by other people. You're afraid of failure. You're afraid of being afraid. You don't know the timeline. You can't see the finish line. That scares people. But I have found I used to be so much that type of person. I was so afraid of everything. I was afraid of failing. I was afraid of what people were going to think about me, being judged. I was afraid of being my own person, of taking risks, of doing the things that I thought was best for me based on what other people were going to think of me. And I was afraid of pain, and overcoming something frightened me because I didn't want to fail. The very thought of failing prevented me from even giving it a shot. Once I put that aside and thought, you know what? I think this is painful enough being stuck where I'm at. I would like to be something better than this. I know I'm better than this. I know I am. How do I get out of this? Face your fears. Look in the mirror and ask yourself questions. What is wrong with me that I would like to fix? Why am I so weak? Why am I so emotional? Why do I feel like I have so much more to give and I'm not doing it? What is preventing me from doing this? Who is preventing me from doing this? Once you start asking yourself the questions, and this is where meditation comes into play, because meditation is one of the freest places you can go, because you're just in your own world, your own universe, and you can find whatever you want. It's your mind. You have to explore it. You can't just keep going to the places that are always comfortable in your mind and in your heart. You can't do that. You're closing doors all up in your brain. You're shutting off all types of valves in your heart. You have to open all those doors and those valves up. You have to explore the possibilities of your body, of your mind. That's the only way you're going to grow and change. Otherwise, your body is going to tell you things you really don't want to hear. It'll shut down on you. It knows you're capable of more. You have to get your body in harmony. I'm not saying that syncing up your mind with your heart is an easy thing. I know it's not. The majority of my life, I struggle with that. But I can tell you, as somebody who has experienced it, once you do sync them up and your body's in harmony, you'll be shocked at what you can achieve. You'll stop worrying about what other people think because you know you're good enough. You'll love yourself. The self-respect that you have for yourself is far more valuable than any respect any other individual could ever bestow upon you. You don't owe anybody else anything in this world. You learn to love yourself. The growth and the change will become so routine in your life. You'll be so disciplined about it that you won't even be aware that you're doing it anymore. You'll just know when you wake up, there are certain things that happen in your life. And if they don't happen, you will accept nothing less. It's a way of life. It's discipline. It's accepting the fact that life is full of pain, but you can control most of it. True, life can be very cruel and unpredictable, but that's where the discipline comes in. Growth and change will help you with that. taking it on and saying, I'm going to create my own uncomfortable struggles and overcome them will prepare you for the ones that are uncontrollable. The problems that come in your life that you have no control over, you can prepare yourselves for those every single day by making your own obstacles, learning how to do things better, learning things you never knew that you were even interested in learning, toughening yourself up, putting yourself in uncomfortable situations. That's the way you grow. And it's hard. It's hard making decisions saying, I'm going to do something uncomfortable, and that friend that I feel like is really not my friend, I'm done with them. I'm going to make myself uncomfortable. This person who I've been interested in for a very long time, I'm going to walk up and talk to them today. That job that I know I need a promotion in, I'm going to go in there and talk to my boss and say, hey, I need that promotion. They're all risks, but you're in control of each one of them. It doesn't matter. You have to be brave enough to know that you're in control of your life. No one is in control of your life. Just because unexpected things pop up in your life doesn't mean you're not in control of it. You have to be aware that anything could happen at any moment. And how do you deal with these things? I have learned that when I walk out of the house every morning, without even thinking about it, my mind and my body are prepared for anything. Nothing surprises me anymore. And people tell me this all the time. You don't seem like you get shocked by any problem or anything. I've conditioned myself not to do that because I've put myself in some very, very hard, uncomfortable situations. I've pushed my body and my mind much further than I ever thought that I would ever get. And I want more. I'm not done yet. I have so much more room to grow because I keep knocking myself down and building up an even higher wall to climb over. And I love myself for that. That's called self-discipline. That's called self-love. I'm saying to myself, I love myself too much not to give myself everything this world has to offer. I will not be stuck. I'm going to be complete. And if I leave this planet and leave this world and this universe without feeling fully complete, that's fine. But I want to get as close to it as I possibly can and know that my life was not lived in vain for my own self. I owe it to myself. If nobody's told you this today, I love you. You deserve to hear that. Salute to you all. The brave never fall.